Yes, you're welcome back and still on top of the balanced diet. Entertainment this early morning. And if you check your Google now, you go see now still trending on top of the story for inside our bonnet this morning. It consigned the statement where one of the former Minister of National Guidance, Yusuf Maitama Sule, become outside the yan. And waiting in yan, he come outside talk, say, make them put a ban on public officers where they don't convict. That one means say they don't confirm them. Say they thief public money from partaking in anything where concern politics, tabi, or even to hold any public office for inside our country. And he come outside, tell the news agency of Nigeria for inside Kano. He said this ban, he said law supposed there to back this ban. And the person supposed to pass this law at the National Assembly. He come outside, see so many things. He said the fear of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, by public officers, say now it is the beginning of wisdom. So we they asking on top of this early morning show, say what do you think about this statement where the former Minister of National Guidance, Yusuf Maitama Sule, what do you think about the statement where you come outside the yan? Say make them put a ban on top any lawmaker, tabi any politician, we don't choke hand for inside badness on confirmed things. You don't come outside Yanam. And we they asking you, say, you feel say that is the best solution for inside our country right now? Or you feel say, like some other people don't come outside talk, maybe capital punishment, or make them seize their property, seize their asset, collect all the money, freeze their account. And if that is not enough, make them choke them for inside one boys' quarter for inside the prison. Call us, tell us what you think on top any of these ones where you just here now. So, but meanwhile, while we wait for you to call us, we get a very casual guest for inside the studio. But we control number for you, we just the Boston, they enter the level now 01-2772-195, type in at 01-277-7195 or 01-277-8195. Our toll-free number there for you to call us at 0800 Wazobia TV. You go welcome our guests for inside the studio this morning. Oga Mukobia, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning.
My pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Right. So straight away, right straight into the top story of today. You feel say a ban on top public officers we don't loot our money. This one based on confirm investigate. You feel say they're not supposed to hold any public office for inside our country ever again?
No, I think I agree with the man. I agree with what you talk. Because corruption are the major problem we will get for this country. If we don't fight corruption, our president talked for Chatham House before the election that if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us, you know. And unfortunately, get so many people who don't steal our money. According to you, we don't do badness, you know. When still they rule us, you know, they still hold superintendence over our country. And that be the problem when we get for this country. Because the people, when they grow, the unfortunate thing is that as our children, they grow, then they see the people when thief money. And people, they still rule them, you know. So it's not helping the moral foundation of our children. Our children now not believe, say, to steal, not bad thing, you know. So if you catch anybody who don't steal, you jail them, then ban the person from political life forever. You know, I think that is a very strong one and beautiful. But, you know, oftentimes you get people to when they talk, say, like China and several Asian countries, when go say, shoot them to death. You know, I do not believe in death sentence for any crime, you know. I tell you... You
don't believe in them because if you say, crime, you know, they work, or because if you say the human life is too precious for anybody to just take like that?
Strangely, I'll tell you, you know, they work. You know, I'll give you 3 strong reasons. We have found out that in America, where some states have the death penalty, those states when don't abolish death penalties, they're safer. Because when you think, I'm a lawyer, if you meet some of these boys when they don't catch the police for armed robbery, they could tell you, say, not be one bullet. You know, but when you know that if you're convicted, you go to prison for life, you find out that it is more of a deterrence than execution, you know. And then most of Europe, they don't abolish death penalty. And most of those European countries are safer than those countries where you have the death penalty. The truth is, people, anybody when they do crime, believes, say, if you kill them, you don't go. But if you keep him here, the family they see shame, in they see shame, he not go fit go do what he makes they do, he not fit come out. Do you understand? And then he knows that that's where he will be for his life, the whole of his life.
Not beside they defend, not beside they defend that they support the death penalty, but in the school of thought where come outside bring this argument, then talk say what of people where they talk about people who get families, who get loved ones. Some people where they do this badness, for them they feel say they have nothing to lose. They feel say they don't get anybody where they have to go back home to at the end of the day. No, some people just
even
get that
the
mentality.
Man when they orphanage, no say the orphanage don't become in family. The people when with them, the orphanage don't become part of them. You know, you get attached. When you're removed and those people get to come see you for prison, there's a psychological thing that happens. I have found that, I've done my research, it is a greater deterrent. Let me tell you those when they enjoy, oh, they don't kill them. Now revenge, it's born out of revenge. I kill my person, they don't kill them. And you know, I have everything against revenge. You know, my philosophy is founded on 3 things. You not give life, you not get right, even if you be government to take life. If you take life, punishment should be keep him away for life. Don't take his own life. And keeping him away for life is a stronger deterrence than taking his own life. That's point number 1. Then number 2, those when they say kill him. Now revenge, I don't kill my own person, make them kill your own. And I found out that an eye for an eye will leave the world full of blind men. A tooth for a tooth will leave the world with people without teeth. So what do? You ensure that the society is saner by keeping away the villains and then allow those who are good natured to stay. Then the 3rd one is, why do you punish criminals? Is it not to keep the society safer? All over the world, comparatively, we have found out that the death penalty does not really deter. That's why armed robbers are everywhere. They know that if you catch them, you kill them. Yeah, but you know, so if you want to keep the society safer, look at that which truly deters the robber, deters the criminal. And the thing, when they deter them, now say, oh boy, if they catch me, now here, now Jetta, I go there for the whole of my life. Oh.
Now, still talking about deterrent. Now, recently, we all talk about the Change Begins With Me campaign. How, for the campaign, the speech, Nigerians need to be disciplined. They need to understand, say, come, you have to do the right thing. Our behavior needs to actually change. I just want to get your own opinion. Is this the last hope for Nigerians, the Change Begins With Me campaign?
Change begins with me. I've made my position known to my dear president and the leaders of our party. I think that I would rather we caption the change begins with leadership. You know why? Because every strata of life will get leaders. For family, na papa be leader. For workshop, na oga be leader. For church, na pastor be leader. And you know, all over the world, the Japanese say leadership na top to bottom. You know, it's not, you don't expect the follower to be the change, essentially. You tell him where you want him to go, you give him a sense of direction, and he follows. And interestingly, in this evolution, we have found out that the Nigerian people have shown commitment for change. You know, remember, say, it not take us 2 years to found the great party APC. And under 2 years, Nigerians accepted change. So Nigerians have shown that they are committed to a new way of thinking, a new way of life, a new paradigm. Nigerians don't say, we want change. Now, what Nigerians are waiting for is for leadership to show us how we want to go. That is why I think that waiting Oga, Lai Mohammed, and others for first do, now to begin to look at how we unite our people after the last election. You know, the unity when they talk about now, we have issues about every time you go to the social media, you go online, you see people, they cost themselves. GJ do this, PMB not do this, PMB do this, GJ not do this, PDP do this, APC not do this. You know, our country is so divided along partisan lines, along individual lines. Our country don't they too divided. Igbo man they talk your own, Yoruba man they talk your own, Hausa man they talk your own. You know, when what we are supposed to do as a major national orientation district, not to begin to build brotherhood in the green, white, green, begin to inspire faith, confidence, and hope in the Nigerian people. Tell the Nigerian people, say, this recession when we get and all that, we'll go see how we want to remove you from them. You know, when you tell the Nigerian people, now why Nigerians react? We don't vote to make una show us the change now. We don't do this, we don't do this. Why not they tell us the change go begin from us again when we don't start the change? Make una show us where would they go, you know. And then some people don't talk. I also made my position on that. Say the way to go, because if you look at the major message of the change begins with me, it talks about patronizing homemade goods, Nigerian goods, and then every state governor convoy, Mr. President convoy, Vice President convoy. If you look the cars, you know go see Innocent. Innocent are the only car we they make for Nigeria.
They assemble in Nigeria.
You know, now you not go see so many of us, and then you see all the security men, everybody in a suit and tie. You know, I think that the time has come for us to begin to really think about how we show exemplarily how we want Nigeria to move.
As you just talk exemplary. That's how our leaders need to show example. Now, it gets some, this Change We Make campaign don't bring into question a lot of things. First of all, even the laws will get away. They already put them on ground for some certain things, some simple road rules and regulation. Now, for inside our country, for inside a state like Lagos, for example, we know say a law there on ground where they stop the use of siren only, that's an example, only for emergency, ambulance. Now them then get the legal right to use that kind of wah, 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 siren. But yet, we still get people, we still get leaders, we still get political lawmakers, we still get people where feel say their feet, it's possible they are above the law. We still they use those sirens, even inside hot traffic. And they talk of something where me, I don't personally experience, where traffic day, and they wonder where you want to make people fly go, if you they do one, and if you not come out. In fact, before you come out, you go see say people, they out of the car, you go see our, in quote, our security enforcers that are behaving like what I cannot even say.
But
you go see them when they
say you don't reduce.
Oh, I cannot agree that it has reduced because it is still there. We not say it don't reduce way before now. But what are they talking? I say, even now where the leaders are campaigning for change begins with me, yet our lawmakers are still doing the same thing. So how you go tell me say you don't reduce?
But when it means me, I feel saying every one of us. So it's everybody.
It's everybody, but like we always advocate, say it needs to start from our leaders. If our leaders still feel they can pass the red light when it is not an emergency. And they even talk of when sometimes you go see empty police van, when only the driver, they inside that police van. But guess what? It is on red light. And they wait for that red light, the driver is not in a hurry. It is clearly stated. But yet, you go past there. And me when they wait, you can't be like, say, I no sabi anything. Like, say, I be one animal where no supposed to stay according to the rules where they on the land.
Make I say this. In a state like Lagos, because sometimes my papa taught me that if you make assessment, they give benefit of the doubt. In a state like Lagos, there's quite a whole lot of change.
Of course.
I totally agree.
Of course.
There's quite a whole lot. I see the governor's convoy, you know, most times without a siren, you know, and if some members of the House of Assembly without a siren, most of them actually. And
most, not all.
most of them, you know, but
it's
of course, you never know
now.
when that one or two person when use siren. You never know why. I am not excusing it. But if you have somebody in the car who's sick, who has a terrible situation, or you have an appointment that you're and then your phone is blaring, you just may. I am not saying that, because the laws are made for men and not the other way, you know. So I do sincerely think that I am proud to be in Lagos, because I drive through Lagos and I see the man who is at Ojota on the queue, waiting to even cross a footbridge, you know. There's some level of decorum, and it started because of consistency in governance. I believe, say, as we do now, what is necessary is when leadership shows the way, the people. I have said that our people are the best people in this whole world. Nigerians are the only people when, if government give you road, you go clap for government. But you never ask yourself, why government did themselves? Not to give me road. It's not my right to have it. You know, if government build overhead bridge, you go clap for government. We're wonderful people. You know, so I'm very appreciative. Now, what I expect for of governance, now make them they do those things, because Nigerians, they're very kind to leadership. I remember in this country, we did Lagos when Marwa and governor. You know, Marwa go patch road. If you wake up in the morning and see, they will say, this Marwa, they walk. You know, Operation Sweep and all that. The same thing is happening now with Ambode. Everybody's saying Ambode is doing this because Nigerians are very grateful people. That is why I think that anybody, when God gives the opportunity to rule Nigeria, is a lucky leader. Because Nigerians are not expecting skyscrapers overnight. Nigerians are just saying, give us electricity, give us housing, give us good
and
education.
that actually brings me to the next question, because let's talk about the economic recession. And you make something, now in the message, change begins with me campaign, and part of the message we say we need to start to depatronize made in Nigerian goods and services. But a lot of local manufacturers now, they actually suffer because of low patronage, and also electricity too, now one of their major issues for them to actually produce in mass. So in the midst of this economic recession, how Nigerians will actually survive them?
Yeah, I don't talk, say, now that we have recession, because we don't see this thing that comes since, so. You know, you remember that even former governor of CBN, Soludo, talk, say, anybody when win the last election, serious wahala day ahead of them. Even Okonjo-Iweala say, before they leave government, they're not they borrow to pay salary. You know, Sanusi won. Everybody knows, say, we go reach where we are now. Yeah. Now, what did I expect first? Now, a strong message, like I said, of hope, confidence, courage to Nigerians. Say, this period would they not mean say Nigeria don't die. Because first, if you begin to build the confidence of our people, they'll be able to, and then show them the things when you don't do.
But we have seen a lot of message, I understand the pains of the people.
That's all.
From the presidency. So is that not a strong message enough?
Understanding the pains is one. Telling the people this is what we're doing is the most important. Because I tell you, I hear some ministers will say rice fit if people not change to tomato or to potato, that this problem will. The truth is that as you and I talk, farms don't they sprout, people don't they plant rice.
Very true.
As me and you they talk, by October, November, December, they don't they harvest rice. Tell Nigerians, say, so and so they ground, so and so we don't they do this. And then like recently now they say money, they don't put money into the economy. Tell Nigerians, say in the next 3-4 months, say see how we want make it be. See how it will be. Make una get patience. Because every other country will
Should we still wait on the government now, looking at the economic recession? Is it all about what the government will do to us?
Nigerians are doing their best. Nigerians are the most resilient people. Nigerians are hardworking people, awesome people. Nigerians are survivalists. Now, Nigerians are working very hard, but they need government now, our father. You need encouragement from government. You need support from government. You need, like government is doing now, they say there's an inflow of resources. I hope and I pray that it trickles down fast enough so that those when they do, and then we need infrastructure, because when you want to diversify economy, the strongest thing is infrastructure. Power, good roads, rail system, so that if the farmer, when they plant for Kafanchan, plant finish, he go see train when go bring in goods to market for Lagos. So that if the barber or the saloon woman, he go fit use NEPA, electricity, instead of using all her money to boot fuel for generator. So there is need for infrastructural development to make our country, the economy grow up again. And I believe that one interesting news when I hear now from the Minister of Works and Power and all that, when he said that, that's Fashola, that they've been able to increase the wattage from less than 4,300 to over almost 5,000 now. So that means that power will improve and is getting better. I believe, say, what we need now, not to use every power when government gets to fix energy, to fix our roads, and to ensure that this rail system is fast and good enough. You know, once that is done, you go find out, say, even in our country, we'll get linear towns along those, like Ore. You know, say, if you depart, most people don't know, say, Ore not be really where would they see when would they go Benin. Ore in a town. But because of that express,
commercial activities,
you know, linear towns don't emerge. That is what rail system will do. Boys will not get work, go get. Women will not get work, go get work. You know, it will blow up the economy for good. So I believe, say, what we need now, diversification, but chiefly infrastructural development. And then Nigerians will support government to ensure that everything works well.
Well, we hope, say, these things where you don't talk, we hope, say, when they even do them, it go they permanent, and not be so good, they go back and forth when the time
reach. They maintain them now, not just the permanent.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you come inside the studio this morning, but because of time, we're going to need to bar break. Enter inside the newsroom. Tabi will enter inside fitness right now, or traffic. Anyone, we're ready. Fitness. Papa Jojo will tell us what's in the shell in the world of exercise. Thank you so much. We'll come back.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.